Hello, this is Bonnie, and this is going to be the second part of the tag books that I made from the previous video. And I'll have that link down below so that you know which video I'm talking about. That video, I created these cute little book covers out of tags. And so today, what I'd like to do is work on the inside and make some pages that will go inside of these books. So this is what I'm keeping in mind. I know how wide I want the pages to be. And I know they're going to be a little bit shorter so that they don't stick out. Although sometimes people like them that way, I'm going to make them so they're a little bit shorter. So what you have to do, everything's going to be different depending on what you use. You're going to just basically measure so that it will fold up to be inside of these. That's it. And then we're going to cut these shorter. So to save some time in terms of stamping, I know that I am going to be using the Fairy Hugs Fairy Dictionary for one part of the pages. So making that decision, I decided that I want, on the inside of this, I want this side to be stamped with the Fairy Dictionary. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it like this. I'm going to get some washi tape, and I'm actually just going to stamp randomly on top of my media mat so that I fill this up as best I can with the stamp on this side, and then I'm going to open it up and do it on the other side so that I have two sides. So I'm going to be using VersaFine Clear Morning Mist, and all I'm going to do, because this stamp works really well for just doing it with your hand. If you want to be precise, I do the stamping platform. But for this type of thing, I just basically use the stamp as it is. It allows me to be more random. So I'm going to make sure I'm the right way around, though that does make a difference. Yeah. Even if I'm upside down, the whole thing will be upside down. And then I'll just do it the other way. So this is right. So you just stamp and stamp and stamp and stamp and stamp. And you can see, now I've got what I want. It doesn't take very long because this is fairly, it's a fairly large stamp, so it works really well. So I'm going to pull this up a little bit so I can get the bottom half of this. This is a 12 by 12 piece of paper, and I just cut it so that I could do as many pages as I can. I think I still have some ink left on this other side. Yep. And like I said, I want to be able to also stamp or put whatever I want to on this. Actually, looks like it's upside down, and that's all right. Just cut it the other way. Yep. It's hard to read this anyway, but that's how I want it. I think I'm going to cover that one spot. Yeah. So it doesn't need to be red. It doesn't really matter for what I want. I just want the background. All right, so I know I want this on the inside, like I said, cover right there. Got stuff on this already. And yeah, so then I also know that I'm going to have to put it here on this side to be continuous. So we're going to go like this, folding it the other way. It'll make sense when you go to put it together. All right, I'm just going to continue stamping. I just wanted to show you that it does make a difference which side you stamp on depending on what you want to do. And I'm going to look at this again, not that it matters, because it's just random. Yep, I can get some of these edges. So just don't make it a big deal, just stamp away. And then you have your 1/2 of your side done. Now, This is the only part, like I said, that I wanted to do it this way. I want to be more precise, sort of, when I go to do the other side of the page. So what I need to do, I need to figure out which, I need to stamp that too. I need to figure out how long I need my pages and cut them, so that will help when I go to make the rest of the page. All right, so I have this lined up to the way that I want it to be. So I have pretty much the same margin, if you want to call it that, around the outside. So then all I do is I come up here and I figure, okay, this is how big my page is going to be. And I'm going to cut several of those to fit inside. Okay, so for the rest of the pages, although I'll probably get on this too, which is not a problem, I like that. This is how I lined these all up. Basically, this is on this side, and that's on that side when it closes. So that's how I'm going to do it. And each page I am going to do some ink smooshing. I think that's what you call it. And I'm going to start with picked raspberry. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of that on here. Actually, I'm going to do all of these. And then dip them as I go. This one is carved pumpkin. So the colors that I am choosing are the colors that are similar to the inside of this particular book, not the outside, but it doesn't have to be that way. It's just what I decided to do. And then this one is scattered straw. And I want to make sure that you can see this. So I'm going to slide this down just a little and put that up there. Okay, I'll probably need to add more, but we're going to go ahead and do this. So I am going to mist these, and then I'm also going to break up this ink with my fingers. And you can see I've already mixed in a little bit. Okay, that's exactly what I want. And then we're going to do some smooshing. And I'm basically concentrating on this side, but I don't care if it's on all of it. So I'm going to do a little bit of grabbing there, and grabbing there. And that's what we end up with. And that works out really good. If you want to add more, just add a little bit more. And like I said, if you want it to get on the other side, no problem. Now I want to get on this side too, but I'm going to let that dry first. So again, I'm just going to randomly pull some of that up. And get some pretty colors. Like I said, I know I'm probably going to, I don't care if it goes over that side. This is not a perfection thing. Okay. Yeah. So that's going to work out really, really well. And that's all you do is you just, you know, pull up some color, and that will be perfect. You could put anything, stamp on that or anything. But that's just how you're going to start. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and grab the first one that I did because it's pretty much dry, and I'm going to go to the other side. So that's all you do to make the color on your pages. I'm going to have to add some more ink, but you can see how that will work. And then they need to dry, and then you can do some stamping, or you can add like whatever you want to do to them. But it'll look really good inside the book. So I'm going to go ahead and add some more ink, and I'll show you the finished pages. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is line up your pages so that they're all going in the same direction, so that when you put them back together, you have it every other one, if that's the way you want it to be. That's how I'm setting mine up. So as you can see right here, I added a moon or a sun, however you want to think of it, and a little bit of a grounding space. So how I did that is I die cut. Gotta get this the right way around. This is like it's about 1 inch in diameter, and I put that down. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you what I did. So you decide where you want it to be. You could be to the side, wherever you want. This one I did in the center. So I'm gonna put this one over to the side just to be different. And I am using, in this case, Seedless Preserves, because I felt that it went well with the outside of this book, and it can go with the inside as well. So I'm using a smaller blending brush, and I'm just holding that down. My pages are still a tad bit damp, or I just got a bunch of ink there, but that's okay. It doesn't really matter because of how we're doing this. And stuck to my finger. There we go. And so now I'm just adding a little bit of ink around the outside to make it like, I call it a moon halo or a sun halo. I just try to get enough so that I can slightly see it. And then we have our moon there. Then I want to ground it. And you can, I tore a piece of paper so you have a way of grounding it. It could be like a bigger hill. It could just be straight across, whatever you want to do. It's how you rip your paper. And for this, I am using, whoops, got that in the wrong place. I am using chipped sapphire. And I'm just going to go across the bottom there. So that I can pretty much see it. And there we go. So we have 2 pages that have, whoops, we have 2 pages now. So that's how I do it for the pages. If I wanted to do moons on each side, like I said, there's obviously lots of ways you can do this. There's a teeny tiny one. This one measures, I don't know what I just did. Oh, there it is. Let's see here. That's about 3/4 of an inch. And so you could actually do that too. And you could put it wherever you want to, so that you give, you have a bit of a variety. Same concept, I'm using the exact same thing, just making a tinier. And because I am using a smaller one, I'm using the smaller brush. Now you can do stuff on the other side too if you wanted, because that works on that side as well. So I'm just going to do these 3 so you can get an idea of what you can do in terms of backgrounds. Now, Fairy Hugs has all kinds of stamps that work really great on both sides too. And now that we've got the smaller set of stamps, it's super. So I'm going to go ahead and finish putting, actually I want to show you one more thing, hold on. I use, like I said, the Seedless Preserves for this one. I wanted to also use, kind of like reverse it, and use the chipped sapphire. And I'm just going to go ahead and do that first, just to show you. It doesn't have to be, it can be any color really. I do like to have it to be a little bit so it has a shadow. So we just go that way around, and see, that looks more like it's a moon and at night. And I would still do the same thing for the bottom. And you got to remember, we've got a back side to all of these too. They don't have to be a moon. It could be anything. It could just be stamping an image or a thought or a sentiment. And that's how you can make, I mean, it's your book. You do whatever it is you want to do. So those are those pages so far. I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of them done and show you what else we can do to stamp on it. Okay, so I pulled out a couple of the Fairy Hug sentiment or Fairy Hug stamps that I thought could work inside this little book. The cover of it basically is themed around books and owls, but I just went ahead and picked other images that I had from Fairy Hugs. So this one right here, like I said, is called Reading Toads. And these are really cute because you have the 3 different sizes, and then they face different directions, and it comes with the word read and several little books. So I'm going to stamp this little guy at the bottom here. Hold that down. That should probably work well. He looks like he's sitting on that little grounding base that I made. And on this, because yes, I did use Oxide, but I'm still going to use the VersaFine Clear Nocturne on this. It's pretty dry right now. Let's see how that goes. Yep, it stamps really super well. I want to bump the camera, but there you go. So then this particular, and this is very tiny, frog is reading this book. And I want to get that right there. He could have a tiny one, but that's the, yep, that's the middle one. I don't know if he's the tiniest frog. Hold on a second. He might be the tiniest frog. Because this book looks a little big. Let's try the next size down. But it makes a difference because it has to be the right direction. Nope. So that one was right. I did have the right one. Because the direction makes the difference of the book. So then you know you've got the right one. All right. And just a little tap of ink. And our little guy's got his book. Oops, there we go. So I am going to go ahead and add the word read to this one too. And again, I'm using Nocturne. There we go. So that could be a completed page. You could add anything you wanted to. There's still room for mushrooms or anything else you want to do. And you could still do something on this side as well. And that works really, really well. I really think that's cute. And then our next one, I could do another, I am probably going to do another frog on another page because I really think these are cute. But for now, I'm going to grab, okay, this one is called Much Joy. It's brand new from Fairy Hugs. They're like a sentiment and scene all in one, which is really cool. And I make sure I'm having these all going the right way. I am. This one already has a moon in it, so that's why this does not have a moon. I don't need it. And actually I can really stamp this on either side. So the deal is it fits on here perfectly. The size of these. I need to put this on here and figure out where to put my tape. There we go. So as you can see, it's going to fit on there really great. Perfect scene. And like I said, I did not need to add any moon to this one. And see, on this side, I could add even more trees or whatever I want to, and I could write my own little sentiment or use another sentiment. There's just so many things you can do inside your own book. I'm just trying to give you a little bit of inspiration for how you can use these small Fairy Hugs stamps, because it's really cool. Okay, and that's super. And you can see that it says, may your joys be many and your troubles be few. And that's really cool for inside of your book. I have one more I want to show you. This is, like I said, just to give you some ideas. All right, and this one is called Fairy Little Things. And I don't really think I need that. This one can totally use a moon in the scene. So we'll grab another one that has a moon. And the way this one goes is I think I want the moon. Moon can go right up there, and that would look really good. And that the mushrooms look like they're on top of that. But but they're also going up the hill. So let's see if we can find a better one with it going up the hill. I think I have this one. So that's how you get to do. You just figure out, okay, how would this work? Does it look okay wherever the moon is, if I did do a moon? So I'm going to get those mushrooms to all sit on that hill, and then the moon still is back behind. And that really works. And that's what I really like about these stamps that already have the scene made, because that works really well. All right. And I'm sure you're wondering how I'm going to be getting these pages inside of the book, and I will show you that as well. But I just thought I'd show you a couple pages just to give you some inspiration for what you can use. Okay, that looks really good also. Okay. So let's go ahead, I'm going to go ahead and get the pages together so I can show you how we put the book together. Okay, so I've got my pages all lined up and I've got them marked where I want to put a hole. And I want to make this in a way so that if I haven't stamped all these, so that if I want to add anything to these, I can. This is like a big, I think this is called, oh, crocodile. Crocodile is what it's called. And I've got it, let's see here. I've got it set on the lowest setting. I'm going to show you it at the side, if you can see that. Yeah, actually see me too, eek. And I'm going to line that up to the side, and just that punches through all of the pages at one time. That's what I really love about this crocodile. So now I've got my holes all set up for my book. Now, I need to get my book, make sure I've got it the right way around. I'm going to line that up just like that. That's how my book is going to go. And I'm going to use my pencil and put my circles inside of there. Okay? So then the next step again is to use the crocodile, line up those marks I just did, and I'm going to cut through those. And like I said, this really cuts through really a lot of stuff really nicely. So now I'm all set up to get my book together. And how I'm going to do that is, honestly, I'm just going to use ribbon, and I'm going to tie that to the back side. So I'm going to go ahead and get that together so you can see how that works. Okay, so I'm going to be using, this is called Seam Binding Hug Snug, and this one happens to be the cream, and you can also get it in white and probably other colors. And then I'm going to be using, I think this is kind of like a sewing needle. I'll be honest, it's not sharp on the one end, it's actually dull, but what I like is the large eye. See if you can see it, yeah. So you can thread the ribbon easily through there. And actually those holes are large enough that I can also do the same thing. So you have to make a decision where you want to tie it. I want to tie mine on the outside. So this is basically a bit of sewing. And so you're going to start from the outside and come on in the inside. Just like that. And then you're going to sew, which is kind of like just go back through the other way. This is a very simple book binding, very, very simple. But that will work for you. It's, you know, it's very easy to do. I'm going to have to pull that a little bit more because I'm going to tie it. But this will allow me to add more pages and to take this out to stamp, because I didn't finish my book, and that'll allow me to do that. I'm trying to see if I can get this even a minute. So then you've got your back side just like this, right? So it'll look really pretty for you just to tie this. And then you just make your bow. Now if you don't want a bow, you can tie a knot, add some charms, and have some charms hanging down from it, that would look really super too. For you to do that. You can have, see now to me that bow looks good, but I don't like this one piece going up. So what I would probably do is I tie it the other way. I would tie it so that you can have it so that the bow can be even smaller. I guess it works that way if you just cut these pieces a little bit shorter, because it allows you to do to add more, like I said. All right, cut that shorter, make it even. At any rate, that's how you put it together. You can make this even into a knot, like I said, add charms, whatever you want to do. Meanwhile, that would be at the side like that. I don't know, I think I like the idea of charms, but I'm just showing you, so that means like you just do a knot. So this is the deal though, when you go to close it, you're going to have to go around your bow, and your bow is there. But I think, you know what, like I said, if it's me, I just think I'd rather have it dangling with charms. So I would just do a knot, but I'm just showing you what you can do. I think I would just do a knot. Make sure it's not too tight so that you can untie it again, and then have that hanging down. And like I said, I would add charms to it. I think it'd be really pretty. And the knot could even go up higher, just depending on where you want it. But I think that's what I would do. So that's just an option. There's other things you can do for the center. You could tie it on the inside. Let's try that. I just want you to see what it is you can do. So let's just say you don't want this on the outside at all. You want it on the inside. You just thread it differently and then tie it on the inside. I think you can understand that, but I'm going to show it to you, just so you can see the options you have. It's not that hard to untie. It's not that hard to restring this. But I wouldn't do it a lot because it's just paper, and it could wear on the, you might have to put reinforcers on your circles, on your holes. So in this case, instead of coming from the back side, we'd be coming from this side. And we'd be going through. Like that. And this could look more like a kind of like a bookmark. And I would not probably do a bow in here either. I would probably still just do the knot. But you can make it so that you can do whatever you want to do. There's a way to tie this knot. I always do it wrong. I think it's called a sailor's knot. So you tie one way and then you tie underneath. So I've tied that way. So now I want to tie underneath, because then it goes in the same direction. Oops. Yep. And that's how that would go. And you'd close that up, you'd have that on the outside. And again, you could have charms dangling down from that. And that works too. Although in this case, I probably would have these hanging out. I'm getting fiddly there. Okay, that's how I would do it with charms. And then I'd put charms all on here, just string beads, and it would be really pretty. All right, so that is the project, the finished project for today. And again, as you know, I made a second one, and you can do the same thing or alter it, do whatever you want, but I hope that inspired you to make your own little book. If you can, we have a Fairy Hugs group in Facebook. It's called Fairy Hugs Store. And if you create one of these things, we would love for you to share using the Fairy Hugs products. Just a quick add-on to the end of this video. I wanted to show you that I did go ahead and add a bead to the bottom of that ribbon that I was showing you. So that works really well, and that is what the project ends up looking like. Again, I just want to say thanks for stopping by, and I will have the information below in the description of what I used.